guys, what's up? I'm Dusty Smith, and this is the Cult of Dusty. I met my friend Steven about 20 years ago at church, and we've been best friends ever since. At least that's one good thing about church. At least I met my best friend there. That's one good thing I can say about church. One of the few good things I can say about it. But fast forward about 20 years in the future, and my friend Steven begins having doubts. He's been watching the Science Channel, the evil Science Channel. He's been reading the internet, reading all about evolution and all about how the Bible's not true, and he's starting to have doubts about whether the Bible's true or not, and eventually he made that transition all the way over to atheism. And I remember when he told me about it, and I remember just thinking to myself, I can't believe that he's having doubts. I cannot believe that his faith is that weak. And I looked down upon him. I thought, God, what an idiot. I mean, why would anybody, for any reason, risk being tortured forever and ever? I mean, you would have to be insane, right? You would literally have to be insane to even risk the chance of burning forever and ever and ever, or being tortured anyway forever and ever and ever. In my mind, you'd have to be completely insane to risk getting tortured for even an hour, much less for eternity. And so I really did feel morally superior to him, and I thought he was just an idiot who had weak faith. But he kept on and on and on, and eventually he did begin to crack that filter I had over me, that Christian filter that allows me to filter out all the logic and not believe it, regardless of what it is. And eventually he convinced me that, what do you have to lose? Go look it up and go research it for yourself. If you believe it's really true, just put your money where your mouth is and actually go look it up and research it and prove it to yourself that it's true. Go look at what the evidence is and see what the evidence is for yourself. And at first, I can remember sitting watching TV, but I couldn't pay attention to what the TV was saying because I had such deep butterflies in my stomach. It almost felt like I was going to throw up. Because just the thought of questioning, if I question, that means I might be tortured forever. And I just didn't want to risk that. I mean, that was terrifying to me. I was literally terrorized by the thought of questioning. And I remember being that way for about 3 days, with the butterflies just wrenching my stomach. And then after about 3 days of asking myself, are you really going to question this? Are you really going to do it? Are you really going to go look this stuff up for yourself? What if you don't like what you find? I finally decided that it was worth it. I really did believe that the Bible was true still, and I believed that I would go out and I would find the evidence that confirms that it's true. And so eventually those butterflies subsided, and I went out and started researching the stuff for myself. And the first thing I did was go look and see if the Earth is really 6,500 years old, because at that point I was a disciple of Ken Hovind. I knew his stuff like the back of my hand. I knew all the jokes that he told. I know all his material. And it takes a lot of time and effort to learn all that material because he has like 16 hours of seminars, and he has all these debate tapes, and he has a lot of written material, and he has a radio program. And it took a long time to learn this stuff, and it was really ingrained into my head at this point. So the first thing I did was go research to see if the Earth was really 6,500 years old. And for those of you who don't know it, a lot of Christians don't even know this, the Bible lays out a chronology from Adam all the way down to Jesus that tells exactly how long each person in the lineage lived, and if you add them all up, then it tells you the Earth is about 6,500 years old, something like that. That's what the Bible says. So that's what a lot of Christians believe, and I believe that too, because that's what Ken Hovind says. So the first thing I did was go research and see what the experts had to say about the age of the Earth. The people that have devoted their entire lives to exploring this, to experimenting with this, and to finding out what the age of the Earth really is. And it turns out we had glue 10,000 years ago. Glue was invented 10,000 years ago. We've had writing since the Sumerians, which predates the Bible by thousands of years. They've even found a bag of marijuana that was 40,000 years old. Okay, a bag of weed, 40,000 years old. They found that shit. And the more I research it, the more I realize that there are many different branches of science from all over the world, from different time periods, all who came to the same conclusion. There's paleontology, geology, cosmology, genetics, physics, literature, archaeology. I mean, practically every single branch of science proves that the Earth is more than 6,500 years old. I mean, you would literally have to be retarded to believe otherwise. To believe that the Earth is only 6,500 years old, you would literally have to believe that there is a global conspiracy that has spanned many generations in many different parts of the world, where all these scientists from all these different branches of science all for some reason got together and falsified their data. You would literally have to believe that, and if you believe that, you will really fucking believe anything, because that is unbelievable. It is the same exact scientists who doubled every one of your life expectancy. It's the same exact scientists who gave us computers and electricity and all the fucking shit we take for granted today. These motherfuckers are not in some kind of global conspiracy to brainwash you and get your fucking brain out of the gutter. That's ridiculous bullshit. And if you will go research this shit for yourself, you will find that out. so I'm just telling